Hey, what's going on everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. This is going to be kind of a quick video, but recently we got Warframe on iOS. This works for the iPhone or the iPad, and what I've got here is the iPad Pro with the M2 CPU. And if you've been following any of the new console ports coming over to the newer iOS devices, you know that this was definitely kind of a surprise to a lot of people. I think some people did have kind of early access to it, but it really didn't pop up on my radar until it was officially out on the App Store. And I would highly suggest playing this game with a controller because the built-in touch controls are absolutely horrible. Before you judge this port of the game, connect a controller to your device and play it from there. Or you could pick up one of these telescopic controllers for pretty cheap over on AliExpress. This is known as the D8. And as you can see, yeah, it does fit the 11-inch iPad Pro with that M2 CPU. Now, of course, this version of the iPad Pro does outperform the iPhone 15 when it comes to CPU and GPU performance. We've got a more powerful ARM chip in here. And I'll tell you, it runs amazingly on this iPad. I've played it on my iPhone, and yeah, it's still a pretty decent experience, but I had to turn some of the settings down. And speaking of settings, we've got a lot that we can mess around with in Warframe on iOS. If you end up getting one of these D8 controllers for your iPhone or your iPad, remember it connects over Bluetooth, it's not a physical connection, and it'll register as a DS4 controller or a PlayStation 4 controller. So any game that supports a controller in iOS on your phone or iPad, it's going to work with it. When it comes to the graphics settings, I'm at high, and I do want to give you a closer look here. So I've just plugged this into my game capture. I'm not using any extra CPU to go ahead and record this screen. As you can see, we can go from 30, 40, 50, up to 60 Hertz. Quality preset is actually at high, but it defaulted to custom. So if I go to high and then all the way down to the bottom to our dynamic resolution and set that to 100, it's going to tell me that I'm sitting at a custom preset. But basically, we're at high, 100% resolution scale, particles at medium. And filming the screen here on the iPad really isn't doing it justice, but I did want to show you me playing with the D8 controller here. Then I'm going to move back over to my game capture so we can get just a closer look at the game itself. It does look really good. Now, of course, the PC version with a higher spec PC can really outperform this and look a lot better, but given that they brought Warframe over here to mobile devices is still pretty impressive. I do want to mention that the D8 controller isn't the best controller in the world. If you're looking for a good controller, I would definitely connect an Xbox or a PlayStation 5 controller. But if you're looking for something really cheap, as we saw over on AliExpress, you can pick these up for around 12 to 15 bucks. It's definitely worth that price. I wouldn't spend any more on it. It will work with Android. Obviously, it's working with the iPad. It'll work with your iPhone and even PC. And all of the Apple Arcade games, or basically any games that support controllers on iOS, will work with this. Just moving over to my game capture so we can take a closer look. And again, not using any of the iPad CPU to record this. This is all going through a secondary device to get this screen capture going. I personally think it looks really good. It plays just fine on this M2 chip. And I've seen a lot of reviews online saying that, it's just kind of hard to play on a mobile device. And I really believe they're just not connecting a controller. The touch controls for this game and most other games out there that I've tried are just horrible. And having a physical controller can really change the way you look at this game. So that's why I say before you judge the game, make sure you play it with a controller on your iPhone or your iPad. I'm actually starting with a new profile here. I just linked up with my app. I'm actually starting with a new profile here. I just linked my Apple account, but later I'm going to go back and use the same account that I've been playing this game on for a couple years now with Steam. That way I've got everything kind of transfers over to the mobile version. But yeah, I definitely think it's worth downloading and playing. It's free, you don't have to buy it, so if you don't like the game, you can always delete it. I think it's coming in at close to 14 gigs altogether. Does need to download that secondary data after you install the application. And really, if you're a Warframe fan, you've got a newer iPhone or a newer iPad, you'll definitely enjoy this with a physical controller. It's not going to replace your PC version. That one will definitely be the one to always go back to. But if you're on the go and all you've got is an iPad or an iPhone on you, you can definitely play this game and have a lot of fun with it. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really appreciate you watching. I just kind of wanted to show this off. Thought it was very impressive. We've been seeing a lot of new console and PC ports coming over to iOS, and really when the developers have to kind of develop that game for a specific mobile device, a lot of them are sticking to iOS because of the fragmentation in Android. For iOS, they only have to worry about a set number of devices. For Android, there's thousands of different combinations, RAM, CPU, screen sizes. But luckily, over on the official Warframe website, there's a sign up page to be one of the first to test this on Android. So they do have plans for this coming over to Android. Not exactly sure when, but it'll be pretty cool to see that also. If you want to learn a little more about Warframe on iOS, I'll leave some links down below. And if you want to pick up one of the D8 controllers, that'll also be down there. But that's it for this one. And like always, thanks for watching.